Hello everyone and welcome back to Notapodcassts. In modern life, where everyone is racing for fame and power, there are some individuals who believe they have already reached the pinnacle, far beyond reality. This is known as grandiose delusion, a strange type of delusion where people believe they possess extraordinary abilities, power, or status without any basis in reality. From self-proclaiming as the chosen one to declaring they have supernatural powers, these individuals live in a world entirely separate from reality where everything is distorted and transformed. Now, let's join Notapodcassts as we dive into the world of grandiose delusions where grand dreams replace reality, and we ask, is there any way for them to return to the real world? Part 1. The causes of grandiose delusion. Grandiose delusion, also known as delusions of grandeur, is when someone believes they have superhero-level powers. But, well, not really. A person with this delusion might think they're royalty, the chosen one destined to save the world, or even able to control everything with their mind. These ideas are not just unrealistic, they're completely out of touch with reality, but in their mind, everything seems crystal clear. So, why do they think this way? The causes often come from serious mental health disorders like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. Especially during the manic phase of bipolar disorder, the person may feel invincible without limits, and that's when the thoughts of being the most important person on the planet start popping up. On top of that, stress, psychological trauma, or chaotic life circumstances can fuel the fire, making these grandiose ideas grow even stronger. People with this delusion tend to live in their own fantasy world, and it's not easy for them to realize they've taken things a bit too far. Part 2. Signs of grandiose delusion. People with grandiose delusion don't just think they're special, they live as if they are truly extraordinary. They might confidently claim they are a martial arts master who could defeat any opponent or a world-class basketball player, even though they've only played a few casual games with friends. No matter how much evidence is presented to the contrary, they remain steadfast in their belief. What's more, when someone dares to doubt or question their claims, they can easily become angry or even aggressive. In their eyes, those around them simply aren't enlightened enough to understand their greatness. Naturally, their behavior reflects this as they act like they're living in the reality of their delusions. Quitting their job to prepare for their future millionaire career seems perfectly reasonable to them. Additionally, they are constantly trying to convince others that their beliefs are true, often to the point of exhausting those around them. Over time, they become difficult to connect with because their thoughts and actions are so detached from reality. And if things weren't complicated enough, they might throw in a few more delusions to spice up their story, like having supernatural powers or being close friends with famous celebrities. Part 3. Impact on daily life. Grandiose delusion isn't just a movie they create for themselves, it deeply affects their everyday life. First, it leads them to drift away from reality, resulting in some rather adventurous decisions. Quitting their job, rejecting good opportunities because they believe they're on the verge of becoming a billionaire or a historical figure is not uncommon. Moreover, maintaining relationships becomes a challenge. Friends and family gradually distance themselves because they can't comprehend the unrealistic dreams of the person with grandiose delusion. Constantly trying to convince others to believe in these far-fetched ideas creates tension in relationships, often leading to their breakdown. They also tend to become isolated, as the deeper they sink into their fantasy world, the more they feel different from the rest of society. Their daily life no longer revolves around normal work or responsibilities, but instead grand plans and lofty goals that are unlikely to ever be realized. Over time, they grow disconnected and lose their sense of direction in the real world. And ultimately, for those living with grandiose delusion, integrating back into reality becomes incredibly difficult. The more they cling to their grand illusions, the further they drift from the practical values of life, turning their existence into a series of dreams that never reach their destination. Part 3. Treatment methods for grandiose delusion. When it comes to treating grandiose delusion, the process can be challenging as individuals often do not recognize that their thoughts and behaviors are abnormal. However, with the right support, patients can gradually move away from their delusions and return to reality. Visiting a doctor is the first and most important step. A doctor will perform professional assessments to accurately diagnose the patient's condition. Through this process, the doctor not only identifies the underlying causes of the delusions but also outlines the most appropriate treatment plan. Seeing a doctor is a prerequisite to beginning any form of treatment, as only a healthcare professional can properly evaluate the severity of the condition and provide an effective treatment approach. Medication is also a powerful tool for managing the symptoms of grandiose delusion. Psychiatric medications such as antipsychotics can help stabilize the patient's thoughts and behaviors. In many cases, doctors may also prescribe mood stabilizers, especially if the condition is linked to bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. The specific type of medication will be tailored to the patient's health condition and the underlying cause of their delusions. Psychotherapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, plays a crucial role in helping the patient recognize their distorted thoughts and gradually change how they perceive themselves and the world around them. Group therapy can also be highly beneficial as it allows patients to interact with others, learning to build healthier and more realistic relationships. This process helps patients improve their social interactions and gradually reintegrate into society. In summary, seeing a doctor, taking medication, and undergoing psychotherapy are the three key elements in treating grandiose delusion. Although the treatment process requires patience and time with support from doctors and those around them, patients can effectively manage their symptoms and slowly return to a normal life. So, we've journeyed through the fascinating world of grandiose delusions where anyone can become a billionaire, a genius, or a close relative of an A-list celebrity. While living in a world of illusions might seem exciting, finding a way back to reality is always the better option for mental health. Fortunately, with timely treatment and support, patients can safely land back in the real world without any harm. If you've laughed along with us or found this content helpful, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to Notapodcassts so you don't miss out on more fun and insightful stories. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video. And remember, reality is always more reliable than illusion.